what is it about this book that, there's tens of thousands of business and finance books out there, but this is the number one personal finance book out there. And this is the one that everyone points to. And maybe the most impactful thing to happen to real estate investing when you think about the lives that have been changed. So what is it about this book that has had that you think has created that impact?
Well, when you figure that out, let me know.
You've had 25 years to think about it.
I really don't know. To me, it was just the contrast between my poor dad, a PhD, and my rich dad, who never went to school. And we've all seen that. We've all seen the differences. Why is a guy like, let's say, Zuckerberg, he dropped out of school, Jobs dropped out of school. Why do so many entrepreneurs drop out of school? Do you know? And then why are so many young people leaving school today deep in financial debt, or the worst type of debt possible, a college loan, and they can't find a job, or it doesn't fulfill them. So I really don't know. The book is number 20 on Amazon. Out of all the millions of books, it's 20 after 25 years. So I don't know. I just taught what my rich dad taught me.
Yeah.
And I had, when I came back from Vietnam, that was kind of the, I don't know what you call it, the decision point. And I was a pilot for the Marine Corps. All my Marine friends went to fly for the airlines. And it sounds glamorous, oh, you're going to fly for United or Hawaiian and all this stuff. But I was through. I was really through. And my rich dad said, well, you go fly for the airlines and get your PhD. And somehow it just didn't ring true after coming back from Vietnam. If you did you serve in combat?
Never in combat. I was in the Pacific mostly.
So if I could explain something, which is the reason I was very happy to talk to you, is that I took a great risk writing Rich Dad Poor Dad. Because, I said in there, your house is not an asset, savers are losers. Mm-hmm. I basically flipped the bird at the establishment. And New York Times, everybody trashed me.
Oh, yeah.
But as a military officer, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the service. So I come back from Vietnam and I'm going, Jesus. And then I made all my money. I was financially free. And I said, I've got to do something. So again, it goes back to mission. The first word I learned at Kings Point was the mission. It's a very spiritual organization, the military academies. And that's why I took Kings Point, because I really did want to go to sea. When I was 14 years old, my only A I got in school was woodshop. I was flunking out of everything else, but I got A in woodshop because I wanted to sail the world. And so I built an El Toro class sailboat, and I'm sailing around the water going, gee, I really want to go to sea. And then for some reason, I read the book, Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. You know how books influence your life. And Carry On, Mr. Bowditch was about a young guy, I think from Nantucket, during the whaling days. And he went to sea, and he wrote a book called The Bowditch Practical Navigator. So that was like in the 1800s. So here I am, 1965. I'm F's all over the place because I can't write. It's not that I couldn't write. The teachers didn't like what I was writing. And I said, so why am I wasting my time reading Little Women or something? Whatever am I doing? I want to learn about money. And so they got an F for that. But I go to Kings Point in New York. I got a congressional Naval Academy and Merchant Marine Academy. And I'm sitting there like this, looking at the two academies. Naval Academy was paying $200 a month as an ensign, and Kings Point was paying $2,000 a month as a grade 8. I said, well, I flunked out of math, but I can count zeros.
No brainer. Yeah.
So I took but that wasn't why I took Kings Point. I really wanted to go to sea. I wanted to be a merchant seaman. I saw Mutiny on the Bounty with Marlon Brando and all that, and he sailed into Tahiti, and had Tahitian maidens paddling out the boat with nothing on but flower leis. And I said, that's, so when I was in high school, this is the 60s, my guidance counselor thought there was no hope for me because I'm an F student. I was a surfer. And she says, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to sail to Tahiti, drink beer, and chase women. And she said, you don't have very high ambition, do you? I said, well, it's all relative. So that's kind of the path. I built a boat, did all this stuff. And I'm at Kings Point, and the first building I walk into is Bowditch Hall. I didn't even know they were related. Mm-hmm. So that's like divine providence or something, And then they start yelling at you about mission and left face, right face, and all this garbage. And next thing you know, I'm in Tahiti because Kings Point sent you to sea for a whole year. And so I traveled, for 1 year. I'm on a boat at sea, traveling the world, navigating, doing all this stuff. And this one tanker, oil tanker, Standard Oil tanker I catch goes into Papeete Harbor in Tahiti. And I went out with Miss Tahiti. And we partied like a rock star all night for 3 nights. So
it came true.
Yeah, my dream came true. And then the biggest mistake she made was she wanted to get married. So I couldn't go back.
Yeah. You could have told your guidance counselor that, hey, my dreams came true,
I'm out of here. But that's why, and that's when I came back from serving when I graduated in '69. I didn't want to sail anymore. And then I had a English teacher who was a West Point graduate, who was a B-17 pilot, Army Air Corps. And he got shot down twice. So while I was at Kings Point, he had us read the Communist Manifesto instead of Little Women. And he had us read Das Kapital by Hitler and Mao's little book and Stalin's work. So I was well versed into Marxism. And so I got this high-paying job in '69 with Standard Oil on tankers. And I'm at sea going, ¿Qué pasa? I'm making all this money. What am I doing with my life? So my graduates of Kings Point in 1969 making $120,000 a year. That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
Today it's starting pay for most guys. But it was a lot of money back then. And I gave it all up. And I went back to Kings Point to the academy in New York, and I sat down with my instructor, the B-17 West Point graduate. And he talked to me about life. Do you know what I mean? He says, life is not just about the money.
Yeah.
And he says, life is this adventure. And with that, the '67 war was just on, and the Israelis kicked ass on the Egyptians. And they were flying the 104 Starfighter, I said, geez, that looks good. So I'm talking to the B-17 English pilot, the English teacher, B-17 West Point graduate. He looks at me, gives it that look, he says, don't sell your life for money. Career and money.
Yeah.
So being not the brightest guy in my class, I joined the Marine Corps. I went to Vietnam.